Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Thursday, December 17th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The two tribes that run casinos in southeastern Connecticut say revenue from slot machines dropped again during November. The Mashantucket Pequot tribe reported this week that slot revenue for November totaled $53.7 million. That was down 1.4% from November 2008 and down 2% from October of this year. The Mohegan tribe, which operates Mohegan Sun, said it netted $59.6 million from its slot machines last month. That's down nearly 11% from November 2008 and down about 5% from October of this year. Acknowledging the need for a 24-hour public and emergency community services on the Hopi Reservation, the Hopi Tribal Council agreed to lease a 1-acre parcel from the village of Haut-de-Villa for construction of a 180-foot tall transmitter tower and facility. Haut-de-Villa would receive $1 for the entire term of the 25-year lease. The village agreed to that rent because the tower and facility will provide a valuable public service to the tribes, the villages, and the Hopi people, according to the resolution approved by the council. In addition, Haut-de-Villa will garner income from rents paid by tenants. The rates and rental agreements will be determined by the tribe's Office of Management Information Systems. The Bureau of Indian Affairs and Hopi Telecommunications, Inc. will also sublease space on the tower. Members of the Navajo Nation voted this week to drastically reduce the size of the Tribal Council and give their president a line-item veto in the first ballot initiative ever brought before tribal members on the nation's largest Indian reservation. Unofficial results from all 110 precincts showed that the Navajo members overwhelmingly favored cutting the council from 88 members to 24. Nearly 61% voted for reducing the number of council members, while 39% voted against that idea. Navajos supported the line-item veto 59% to nearly 41%, according to tribal election officials. The vote marks a major shift in the tribe's governmental structure, which was forced upon the Navajos some 85 years ago. The Tulalip Tribe's health clinic announces the launch of a $334,000 smoking cessation effort for tribal members in the surrounding community. Casino revenues and Washington State Department of Health grant funding will support cessation efforts through area schools, health fairs, businesses, tribal health clinic programs, and the Tulalip Pharmacy and public service education. According to the National Tribal Tobacco Prevention Network, 40% of adult Native Americans are smokers, spending almost $2,000 per year on the habit, the highest rate of tobacco use among every age, ethnic, and gender category in the United States. Various studies place the American Indian Alaska Native youth smoking rate between 23 and 50%, at least double the national average for persons under 18. Additionally, teens are 3 times more likely to smoke if parents smoke. Native Alaskan groups who depend on whaling and a coalition of environmental groups sued the federal government this week, seeking to block a Shell Oil subsidiary from drilling next year in the Beaufort Sea. The Alaska Eskimo Whaling Commission and the Inupiat community of the Arctic Slope, a federally recognized tribal government representing Alaska North Slope communities, asked the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn a drilling plan by the Minerals Management Service, approved this October. Hours later, a coalition of 10 environmental groups and Arctic communities filed a second action with the San Francisco court, claiming the MMS did not properly evaluate the effects of the proposed drilling, including the risk of a major spill. Navajo President Joe Shirley Jr. is also back on the job. A Window Rock judge issued a permanent injunction this week against the Tribal Council resolution that placed Shirley on leave earlier this year, saying lawmakers acted outside of their authority in passing it. The judge's decision is subject to appeal in the Navajo Nation Supreme Court, and a council spokesman said an appeal is likely. Lawmakers voted in late October to place Shirley on administrative leave, pending an investigation into allegations of ethical, civil, or criminal involvement with companies that had tribal contracts. Shirley is in his second term as president of the Navajo Nation, the country's largest tribal reservation. The federal government gave preliminary approval this week to formally recognize a small tribe of Native Americans based on Long Island's Hamptons region, a decision seen as a key step toward the tribe eventually opening a casino in the state of New York. Shinnecock tribal leaders first tried to open a casino on their reservation in Southampton in the year 2003, but they were told the Bureau of Indian Affairs must first formally recognize them as a tribe. The preliminary approval received earlier this week sets off a review period that could bring final recognition by next spring. Shinnecock leaders have said they're willing to negotiate an appropriate site for a casino either on Long Island or in the Catskills upstate. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank all of you for joining with us today. Come back again soon. And tomorrow we again have Kimberly Acosta giving the news read. You take care. Miigwech.